The impact of technology on your brain. This is not going to be a video telling you to just lower your screen time. This is about more than screen time. This is about how you are using
GILD Coaching. More success, less stress.
It's not really how long we're using our screens that matters anymore. It's how we're using them and what's happening inside our brain in response. The growing human brain is constantly building neuropathways. Your brain is a fascinating place. It's pruning away less used areas, and digital media use plays an active role in the process. If you are using your screens for different reasons, you could be taking resources away from different areas of the developing brain. Boredom is the highlight here. It's the headline. Your brain thrives when you're feeling boredom, because boredom is the space in which creativity and imagination thrive. When you're using it, got my phone right here. When you pick it up to play a game because you're bored, or to scroll on social media because you're bored, what you're doing is you're robbing your brain of some key time. We think of rest just while we're sleeping, but our brain rejuvenates and takes little rests during our active and conscious hours if we let it. But so many people are not allowing their brains to have this rest and active rejuvenation time because they're picking up their phones, they're playing a game, they're scrolling on social media, they're checking out the latest news headlines, they're seeing what they've missed in their friends' lives and all of these things. So not allowing ourselves to have that downtime with our brain on our brain's clock is really very much hurting us. It keeps us overstimulated, and you see people, kids, I think every kid today may be diagnosed with ADHD. If not every kid, it seems like almost every kid. And it's one of the reasons, I believe, is because we keep them stimulated and overstimulated. And allowing stimulation helps with brain development, but also allowing that boredom, downtime, allows for brain development. Another thing that's very, very important that you need to keep in mind when it comes to brain development, and brain development is not just important for little kids or teenagers or young adults. We all, everybody, no matter how old we are, we have developing brains. We have neuroplasticity, and our brains are constantly developing and updating and reprogramming themselves and making new tracks or solidifying old tracks. But we all need sleep for all of that to happen. And key research from HMS, the Harvard Medical School, has shown that emitting blue light emitting devices like smartphones before bedtime can really damage our ability to reach deeper levels of relaxation. The reason is because blue light, specifically the type of light that comes out of these things, stimulates your optic nerve in a way that it signals your brain that it's noon outside. It signals your brain that it's the opposite of time for sleep. And so it also really impacts your ability to rest. While you are resting, your brain does cleanup duty on things that it can't do during conscious resting. And so that's why this is about so much more than just screen time. Is it better for you to have less screen time? Sure. Yes, I'm never going to say no, have more screen time. Yes, it's better for you to have less screen time, but we really need to look at our motivation, and then we need to look at our timeline. So my recommendation is, when you feel yourself get bored, great, take that minute to do some deep breathing. Center yourself where you are. Just that moment helps your brain rejuvenate. also ask yourself, why am I reaching for this thing right before I go to bed? Why is it the first thing that I reach for right when I wake up? And stop doing that. Don't sleep with it right next to yourself. If you are one of those people that say, oh, well, it's my alarm clock, buy an alarm clock. If you can afford one of these things, you can afford to go to the store and buy a $10, $15, $20 alarm clock. So come on, excuses, no. But here are some additional things that you can do when it comes to dealing with your digital media, because it is part of our everyday life. And so we need to know how to manage it. And that's really the important thing here. You've got to be aware that we have gotten into the habit as a society of using digital media as a distraction. Half of all kids and 3/4 of parents feel that the other person is distracted when they're having a conversation. Don't be distracted. Be all in. Be there. Give some eye contact. If you notice that the younger generations are uncomfortable with eye contact, it's because they're doing this all the time. They're looking at this thing all the time and they're not looking at each other and at you. Have regular sit downs with people. Have screen-free meals. Put your device down and be present with others. Observe the world around you. Let your mind wander. Oh, let your mind wander. Where? Wherever. Avoid those blue light screens before bedtime. And if your kids do want to play games in front of screens, do it with them rather than forbidding them or limiting them. See what they're doing on screen. Have them teach you. You're going to be terrible at it. They're going to laugh at you. That's great. It's a growing point. It's a growing moment for everybody. Help them incorporate you in, and then you'll be enriching your relationship. And then you can maybe take that playtime off screen as well. And then also help your kids plan how to spend their time, focusing on favorite activities or things like that, so that they don't fall into that habit of screen abyss. While you're thinking about how to teach them that, think about what type of an example am I setting for them with my own screen use, and understand that the best example that they can get is from you. If you're not a parent, you can take all of these tips as well and just incorporate it into your own life. But I really want to cover the entire span of what we deal with in our society, which is, adults and some families. So that is how technology is impacting your brain, and that is a few ways that you can limit the damage that it brings while not completely divorcing all technology out of your life. If this was of help to you, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell before you go so that you get notifications when we drop videos like this to help you live a happier and lower stress life. I'll see you soon.